So hey, how you doing, YouTube? I know it's been a while since I went live, and I said, you know what, let me just do this video live because I have been having trouble shooting videos, and then once I shoot them, they're unable to load. So I said, let me just go ahead and just do this live. So basically, today, what am I going to talk about? Another item got deleted. And so you may be wondering what item got deleted. Many people ask, okay, Lorraine, I've seen your videos with you, helping, others delete a judgment off a credit report. Hey, thank you for the thumbs up. So the question is, when something gets deleted off of your credit report, can it be put back on there? Now, the question is not, can it be put on there? The question is it legal? Because I'm here to tell you, there is a possibility that while you're disputing items, they're going to be put back on your credit report. But see, I'm here to tell you that that is actually illegal if the credit bureaus do not follow a certain procedure, which I'm going to talk about later. But before I go into talking about that, I want to show you the information that I said I'm going to show you. So as you can see, information has been removed for privacy purposes. I can't see, but somewhere up here you should see a date. So as you can see, November 2nd, very recent. As you can see down here, deleted. Somewhere here you should see deleted. Deleted. Hopefully you can see it. So basically, we have reviewed. I have a judgment, and it's okay. Just hold that question. So as you can see, item has been, basically it says we have reviewed the judgment information, and it gives the case number, and the results are this item has been deleted from the credit file. If you have any additional questions. Anthony, before I answer that question, I just want to kind of, stay on track with what I have here. So this is an example of a client of mine who was successful in getting a judgment deleted off the credit report. And lo and behold, what happened about a month or two later, I believe 2 months later, the credit bureau, which of course is Equifax, inserted the judgment back on the credit report. Reason why she knew something was wrong, her credit score went lower. Now, of course, these papers right here, very important. Reason why they're important is because you always want to keep a file when you are disputing. The reason why you want to keep a file is because she still had the letter, and I should have had that letter here to show you, but she still had the letter that showed that it had got removed from her credit report. So lo and behold, it was an easy fix. Now, didn't I say earlier that if items are removed off your credit report, will they be put on there? Is a good chance they will. But the question is, the question is not will they be put on there? The question is why it's illegal for them to put it on there. And the reason why it's illegal is because this is not Lorilla-ism. This is not something I kind of just pulled out of the air. This is statute. This is law, according to the Fair Credit Reporting Act. When a credit bureau, they have all different statutes. This is one of the statutes. And I'm giving you my version of it. Now, of course, if you read it, it'll be very illegal jargon. But basically what it says is that when an item is removed off your credit report, and say, lo and behold, the credit bureaus do their due diligence, they find, oh boy, well, you know what, we made a mistake. We don't want this item removed off the credit report. They have to give you a 5-day notice. So what that means is that within 5 days from the time that they removed it, they have to inform you. So if this, thank you so much. If this is in November, they got 5 days from that date to say, you know what, we made a mistake and we're going to put it back on your credit report. 5 days. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you it's very rare. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's very rare that the credit bureaus will inform you within 5 days. That is what happened to the client. Now, in this case, it would not matter. They can come 5 days and say, oh, we made a mistake with this. But see, what's going to supersede that is the original letter that we got in the early part of the year that said that we had reviewed this information and we deleted it. So now anything after this will get superseded by what happened previously. And that's why it's so important for you to keep your documentation. You always, when you're disputing, you want to keep your documentation. That's why so many people always say, oh, an item got deleted and it got put on my credit report. Oh, well, okay, go ahead and dispute. You know, I hope you're not, if you're disputing, I hope you're not doing blind disputes. What do I mean by blind disputes? You're kind of disputing, you don't have no type of credit file for yourself, you're not keeping any of the correspondences that you're getting from the credit bureau or creditors or whoever you're talking to. You always want to keep a file. That is the reason why I'm not a big advocate of electronic disputes. Can you get results? Yes, you can, but somewhere or the other, you have to be able to track what it is that you're sending and what they're sending you. I'm an old-fashioned type of gal. I like paper because when I need to tell a client what to follow up with, old-fashioned paper will always save the day. A lot of people want to get into technology. Oh, I'll fax. I'll do it electronically. And like I said, you can get results. But you have to have some way that when items get removed, you're able to capture that. You know. So that is all that I'm saying. But going back to what I said, 5 days from the time that you receive a letter that with them explaining that it got deleted. Now let me see. Anthony is saying, I have a judgment. And it's, for some reason, it's like half of it is there because of the YouTube button. Well, if that's the case, now that's a good question, Anthony, because this is what I always tell people. Just because you have the item removed off your credit report does not eliminate the liability that you have with that creditor. So Anthony is asking, it's not on my credit report, but it's in the courthouse. Well, lo and behold, that's a whole different subject. I did a video on that. If you feel like that judgment was put on you, maybe your rights were violated, you don't feel like you were served the proper way, yes, you would have to go through the legal means to have that judgment vacated. If you don't go through the legal means to have it vacated, well, you are still liable for that debt. So what that means is, and this is what I tell people, just because it's removed off your credit report does not mean you're not liable for that debt. But this is what I will tell you, because some people say, well, why get it removed off your credit report? Because now you can get the foot off your neck and you can move forward with life. Because some people have public record information on their credit report and they stand still for 10 years. Now, that is a very bad place to be, knowing that for 10 years you cannot do nothing. So going back to what Anthony said, you're still liable for that debt. So you either have to work something out with the creditor to pay it, because if you have any assets, that's the whole point of the judgment. They are going to put liens on them. If you own a car outright, they're going to put a lien on that. You own a home, they're going to put a lien on that. You have a job, they're going to do a wage garnishment. So, answering your question, removing it off the credit report will not eliminate your responsibility, but it will allow you to move forward with life, because unfortunately things happen. And if a person is looking for a particular job and knowing that if I can get this job, I can move forward with my life financially and economically, but I cannot do that unless I get this job. Why deal with a judgment being on any public record item being on your credit report when you can have the option to figure out a way to have it removed? Now you can move through life and be able to do whatever you need to do to be able to pay that debt. That's interesting. Now, a lot of times a loan company can go out of business, but have you did research enough to figure out if it's if a new company bought them, because this is what I will tell you, and this is just business, this is business talk. Most of the time when a business goes out of business, they will sell their assets. What that means is that assets are any loans on the books. So last week I did a video, and I'm going to kind of touch on it today, about the statute of limitations on a debt. I talked about how there was a client who came to me, or should I say a person who did a consultation, come to find out there was a debt that she owed that was by a company, and and whatever happened, she was unable to pay on the debt, and the debt got purchased from a debt collector. So Anthony, going back to you, the creditor, the person who originally gave you the loan, may have went out of business, but a debt collector, there may have been a debt collector who purchased the loan. So that's why you have to do some research and some due diligence. Find out who really did sue you, because it could be the debt collector. A lot of times original creditors don't really get into the habit of suing you, because they can go ahead and sell the debt. So Anthony, I'm going to guarantee that the loan company may have went out of business, but the debt collector, the account that debt was sold to, a debt buyer, a debt collector, that company is the one that sued you. And so I would look and do some further research. Okay, so you're kind of confusing things, because reinsertion, so are you let me understand this, Nakia, are you saying that the item was reinserted and it's 5 days from that point? Because even if that's the case, we can even use that example. The client of mine still never got notice. And most of the people that I deal with, so if you want to use that 5 days from reinsertion, that's fine. She didn't get noticed. 5 days from the point that she got the letter, still never got, noticed. So either or, the point that I'm making is, have you even got anything from the credit bureau? So that's it. So to answer your question, I would have to look at the law again to be certain, because this is what I always tell people. I don't want, the advice, or should I say, my knowledge of this industry comes from the law and the statute. It doesn't come from other talking heads. So whenever I need to look something up, I would go right to the law. So Nakia, going back to answering your question, if you know something about it, go to the law and statute. But the point that I'm making, client never got no notice, whether it was 5 days from reinsertion or 5 days from the point that it got removed. No notice. The only thing, that's good. The only thing is that she has alerts to let her know about her credit score. She noticed her credit score got lower. She went and looked at her report. Lo and behold, that was how she found out that the judgment had got added onto her report. Exactly. She got no notice at all. So, she wouldn't have even knew that the item had got put on there had she not got that alert from whatever service that she's using to know that, her score had got lower. But good question. Good question. Because the whole point is noticed. You want to have some type of notice. So that is a good question. So I appreciate that. I know we got other people on, so feel free to ask me any questions. Other than that, I'm going to go on to the next thing that I wanted to talk about, and that's statute of limitations. So going to kind of piggyback on what I last talked about, similar to when Anthony was asking a question about a loan company went out of business. So like I said, had an individual who came to me, had a consultation. She had a loan originated to her from a company that's no longer in business. I'm very familiar with the business. The business used to be right here in New Jersey. And so I know that the business went through a series of sales. It was sold to one business, then to another business. Now, sidebar, has nothing to do with credit. This is what I always tell people about, financial ignorance and financial illiteracy. It's $1 billion business. And what a lot of people don't know is that it is a business. So debts are sold and resold to different companies. And what they know is that that is revenue and income from them. It's a liability to you as a consumer. It's probably even a thorn in your side. But to the person on the other side of the table, it's revenue, it's income. So what that means, going back to what I said, the company has gotten sold and resold. But during that time, a debt collector purchased that debt. And that's what I was trying to explain to Anthony, is that the original creditor gives you about 120 to 180 days, and they're going to see if you're going to pay on it. I don't know the specifics for her. And then it's going to get sold. So that's what happened. In her case, the debt got sold, and it got sold to a series of debt collectors. But the good thing is that in 15 years, she never got served. They never pursued her in court. And so it was really a good thing. But now this is the other side of the coin. And I asked a few people who are in my private Facebook group, if you were given a notice in the mail, and the notice said for you to settle a particular debt, will you settle it? With money not being an option, you got the money in the bank, you can write the check, no problem. Would you pay the debt? And so the reason why I asked that question, and I know a lot of you all can't answer me back, but I asked that question to see what the answer was. Well, let me say this. That is what happened to her. She had got a letter in the mail for a settlement, and she was about to proceed and pay. Now, before I finish, I want to put a disclaimer. By no means, I'm not trying to tell people not to pay your debts. You, in your heart of hearts, you want to pay your debts, by all means, you go ahead and pay them. But one thing that you will always hear me say, unlike a lot of other people, because most people talk about surface things, surface part of debt elimination, is knowing the nature of the debt. So going back to the lady that I'm particularly talking about, that debt was over 15 years old. What the point that I'm making now is that every debt have a statute of limitations. There is a time stamp on that debt. So when you hear a lot of people who say, oh, I'm part of the debt-free movement, or this, that, and the other, rah, rah, we're getting rid of your debts. A lot of times those individuals will talk about current debts. Those individuals will talk about debts they currently have that they're looking to either pay the balance down, whether it's a loan, whether it's a credit card, whether it's an automobile, whatever it may be. They're looking to pay those balances down or either pay them off. And then that also goes into past due. But then you have another group of debts which are charged off debts. They dance to a beat of a different drum, and you have to handle them different. So with this particular lady, she had a charged off debt. That settlement offer that came in the mail, remember I asked the question, would you pay if money was no option? There was a settlement offer that I guess that she was considering paying, but going back to what I said, the debt was 15 years old. 1 second, Anthony. The debt was 15 years old. The statute of limitations on any debt to be reported on your credit report, meaning for a creditor, for a debt collector to even report an item on your credit report, is 7 years. It's 15 years. It's 8+ more years. And the FCRA is very clear on re-aging debts. Can debts be re-aged? Of course. But a lot of times the way they're being re-aged are in an illegal way. I won't talk about that today, but sometimes your debts are re-aged, put back on your credit report in the wrong manner. If she had went forward and paid that debt, they legally can now report that on her credit report. So in her case, this was not a case of doing a debt validation letter. You hear me talk a lot about this wasn't this was not a case of do a pay for delete, because this was some of the answers that I got. A pay for delete. a debt validation. This was really a clear, easy letter. The statute of limitations has passed on this debt, and this item should be removed. Real straightforward, real clear. The reason why I moved over like that, because there's a letter in my book where I talk about it. It's called the zombie debt. It's so hard when you, kind of hard when you in these phones. And so this is the book. And so on page 58, 59, and 60, I show you a sample of a zombie debt letter. This is considered a zombie debt. Zombie debts or time-barred debts, meaning that there is a time that a creditor can collect on the debt, and what happens is the statute of limitations has passed. They cannot collect on it. They cannot sue you. But if you decide to want to do a workout plan, or because you see these great settlement offers that are coming, or you decide to pay the debt, now you have legally re-aged the debt, and now the debt collector can now put it on your credit report. Now this is not a case of, oh, because this is what I get. Most of the time people come across my videos, they've already worked stuff out. They got something worked out. They're making payments. They come across my videos. Oh, I think I want to send one of those zombie debt. Nah, you can't do it now because you've agreed. Because remember when you was on the phone agreeing to those payment plans you were going to do? They got you recorded. Remember they say this is on a recorded line. They're not saying that to just say it. So, but I want to put the disclaimer out there. If you in your heart of hearts want to pay your debts, by all means, you go ahead and pay them. But I always say know the nature of the debts. And the reason why is because we're in the fourth quarter. What does that mean for business owners? Business owners who are in the business of collecting debts. It's collecting season. So since we in the end of the fourth quarter in 2016, approaching the new quarter in 2017, the offers are going to be coming. The settlement offers are going to be great. You're going to look at that and you're going to be like, oh, I can pay that with no problem. I got my tax refund coming. Oh, I'm going to pay this off, this, and the other. Be very mindful. Be very mindful. You know my disclaimer. I've said it already twice in this video. That's all I have to say. Regarding that, be very mindful. Understand what the SOL means regarding debts. So now Anthony says, well, no, good question. Public record debts, 10 years. 10 years. 10 years from the time that judgment got inserted onto your report, Anthony, is 10 years. It's going to sit there 10 years. They got 10 years to collect on it. So that creditor can pursue you legally for 10 years. They can still do whatever means that they have to sue you. Don't think you moving out of the state is going to help you. Many people think they can run from their debts. I know within the U.S. they can do something. I don't know if you go to another country, it may be hard and you have a foreign bank account. But if you're right here in the United States, they can still catch you. There's things called skip traces. People can find you. So don't think, oh, the debt happened in Florida and I moved to Texas. They're not going to find me. They will find you. So like I said, that is what is going to happen. So thank you so much, Anthony, who asked the question, and Nakia. Thank you so much. And I know we got other people on, but no one has asked the question. I'm already at 25 minutes. But those are two things that I kind of wanted to bring home today, showing you judgment got removed, what to do if an item gets inserted onto your credit report even after you dispute it. And I went into statute of limitations because, like I said, it's collecting season. So the offers are going to be coming. They're going to be bottom barrel offers. And I should have talked about that. And I may leave that for another YouTube live. I want to talk about And I don't know about you, but when I was going through my financial hardship, I always used to wonder, how is it that they can send me these lowball offers? So that is something that I will talk about, because sometimes you need to know. Maybe some of you all don't care, but I think it's good information to know. How is it that you can get these lowball offers sent to you? And so I will talk about that. And I also will talk about that once you do get one of the lowball offers and it's paid, what happens when a debt collector comes after you for the remaining balance? Thank you, thank you. I'm glad that don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Anthony, because you'll be getting notifications on when I do more videos. I'm gonna do more of these lives because they're kind of easier to upload onto my channel. And anyone else who's watching, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And also you can go to my blog, www.yourmoneymentor.com. There you will get a chance to read some articles and some other stuff I have. And also I have a video that I've did a few months ago, showing you how my client was successful with getting that public record item removed off of the credit report. And that is a credit software that I use. If you go to www.yourmoneymentor.com/credit software, you will it will take you to that website. You can learn more about that software. So in the meantime, I'm approaching already 30 minutes. It was a pleasure talking to you, and I look forward to talking to you in the next YouTube video. Bye-bye.